Stop everything you're doing right now, because what I'm about to share with you will completely change how you view United States immigration in 2026. After months of anxiety, uncertainty, and endless waiting, something remarkable is happening inside the immigration system that nobody is talking about. If you or someone you love is waiting for a green card, work permit, or visa approval, the next few minutes could be the most important updates you hear all year. This is not clickbait. This is not speculation. This is real, measurable movement happening right now across multiple immigration categories, and you need to know about it immediately. Real cases are moving forward. Real approvals are being issued. Real families are finally getting the answers they've been desperately waiting for. Stay with me, because after months of nothing but concerning news, we finally have genuinely positive developments to discuss. Welcome back to my channel, where I bring you the most accurate, balanced, and hopeful immigration information to help you navigate your journey to the United States. If you've been keeping up with immigration developments over the past several months, you know exactly how draining and demoralizing it's been. Week after week, we've heard warnings about increased enforcement, seen processing delays pile up beyond what anyone thought possible, and watched timelines stretch indefinitely. Your inbox has probably been flooded with concerns about green cards stuck in limbo, visa applications going nowhere, and futures that seem perpetually uncertain. Families across America and around the world have reached out to me saying the same thing. It feels like every single piece of immigration news is bad news. And you know what? That feeling is completely valid and understandable after everything immigrants and their families have endured. But here's why today is different. Here's why this matters more than most updates we've shared recently. As we move deeper into February 2026, something significant is shifting inside the immigration system. We're not talking about empty political promises or dramatic press conferences designed to generate headlines. We're talking about actual, measurable, documented progress that thousands of immigrants have been waiting years to experience. Real cases are advancing through the system. Real approvals are happening at consulates and USCIS offices. Real families are finally receiving the life-changing news they've prayed for. Before we dive into the specific areas showing improvement, the categories experiencing faster processing, and what this means for your individual case, please subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you never miss critical updates. Hit that like button to help this positive news reach more people who desperately need encouragement. And share this video with anyone navigating the immigration system, because after months of anxiety, we all need to hear that progress is possible. Let me break down exactly what's happening right now, starting with the area that affects more people than almost any other. Green card processing. As February 2026 unfolds, USCIS is demonstrating a level of consistency we haven't seen in quite some time. Now, I'm not going to stand here and tell you that suddenly everything is lightning fast, because that would be misleading and dishonest. But what we are seeing is something equally valuable and perhaps even more important for planning your life. Predictability. Applicants across multiple green card categories are reporting regular case status updates, fewer mysterious pauses that last for months with no explanation, and smoother progressions from one processing stage to the next. This is especially true for family-based green card applications, where approvals are continuing at a steady, reliable pace. And here's what's really encouraging and gives me genuine optimism. Some applicants are watching their cases advance ahead of the posted processing times after enduring long stretches of complete silence. Think about what that actually means for families who've been separated across continents, for couples who've put their entire lives on hold, for parents who haven't been able to plan for their children's futures with any certainty. After years of complete unpredictability being the single biggest obstacle in immigration processing, February 2026 feels fundamentally different. The system isn't frozen in bureaucratic paralysis anymore. It's structured, it's organized, and most importantly, it's moving forward. When delays do occur now, there's usually a clear, identifiable reason that makes sense. Maybe it's an additional security review that's standard for certain countries. Maybe it's interview scheduling coordination with consular posts. Maybe it's waiting for visa number availability in preference categories. But it's not the inexplicable radio silence the complete lack of updates that drove so many people to desperation over the past few years. That shift alone represents massive progress. For those of you going through the marriage-based green card process, I know you understand the unique pressures and scrutiny involved. The examination is intense, and frankly, it should be because the system needs to protect against fraud and ensure the integrity of family-based immigration. But what we're seeing in February 2026 is that interviews are actually being scheduled and conducted. Decisions are being issued in reasonable timeframes. And most importantly, genuine couples with bona fide marriages are receiving approvals. If you've been waiting months or even years, watching other people's cases move forward while yours sat untouched and seemingly forgotten, these recent approvals should give you real, tangible hope. Family-based immigration continues to be recognized as a fundamental priority under United States immigration law, and that priority is finally translating into action. Now, let's talk about something that doesn't make dramatic headlines but makes an enormous difference in real people's lives. USCIS case management improvements. Behind the scenes, away from public attention, USCIS has been expanding digital processing systems and strengthening internal coordination between different departments and service centers. You might not see these technological upgrades directly, but you're definitely feeling their effects in your day-to-day experience. Receipt notices are arriving more consistently after filing. Biometric appointment letters are being scheduled without the chaos and confusion we saw previously. Interview notices are showing up when they're supposed to, giving applicants adequate time to prepare. For applicants who've been living in constant anxiety, not knowing if their paperwork even made it into the system or if it was lost somewhere in the bureaucratic maze, this consistency is genuinely life-changing. It allows you to plan. It allows you to breathe. It allows you to have some semblance of control over your future. Employment-based immigration is another critical area where we're witnessing tangible progress across several employment green card categories. USCIS is processing cases with noticeably increased efficiency, particularly when all required documentation is complete and visa numbers are available in your preference category. Workers who've been trapped in temporary visa status for years, unable to change employers, unable to advance their careers, unable to make long-term commitments or investments, are finally seeing approvals and meaningful forward movement. This isn't just about the paperwork or bureaucratic processes. This is fundamentally about people's ability to live their lives fully, to pursue professional opportunities they've earned, to stop existing in professional limbo where their futures are uncertain. The economic and psychological toll of extended temporary status cannot be overstated, and these approvals represent genuine relief. Here's something that often gets overlooked in immigration discussions but matters enormously: visa processing happening at US embassies and consulates abroad. United States diplomatic posts around the world are gradually improving interview scheduling capacity in multiple regions. Yes, significant backlogs still exist in certain countries. I'm not going to pretend they've disappeared overnight because that would be dishonest. But February 2026 is bringing more interview appointment slots for family-based immigrant visas compared to what we saw in previous months. If you have family members waiting outside the United States, desperately hoping for that interview appointment that represents their final step toward reunification, this development should give you genuine, grounded optimism. Interviews are the gateway to bringing families together, and more gateways are opening. The National Visa Center deserves recognition here as well. Document review timelines, while still appropriately thorough and careful, are becoming more predictable. Cases with complete documentation are advancing toward interview scheduling more steadily than we've seen in recent memory. For families watching the calendar, marking off days and weeks, knowing that the process is actually moving, even if it's moving slowly, provides enormous psychological relief. The difference between hoping something will happen and knowing it's in motion, seeing tangible progress, cannot be overstated. Work authorization is another critical area showing positive trends that directly impact people's daily lives. Applicants waiting for employment authorization documents, commonly known as EADs, are experiencing smoother approvals when applications are filed correctly with complete documentation and submitted on time. Again, not every case is being fast-tracked or processed in record time, But the overall trend suggests USCIS recognizes the critical importance of preventing unnecessary employment disruptions for immigrants who are legally present in the country. This matters tremendously because work authorization isn't just about having a job or earning income. It's about families maintaining financial stability, keeping their housing, paying for their children's education, continuing medical insurance coverage, and building their lives while immigration cases move through the system. When someone can work legally without gaps, they can contribute to their communities, they can plan for their futures, and they can maintain dignity and self-sufficiency during what is already an incredibly stressful process. Now, let's be absolutely clear about what this good news does and does not mean, because I never want to mislead anyone watching this channel. This does not mean all backlogs have magically vanished into thin air overnight. It does not mean your individual case will suddenly accelerate to warp speed and be approved tomorrow. It does not mean there are zero challenges remaining in the immigration landscape. Immigration remains inherently complex, with multiple agencies, complicated laws, and case-by-case adjudication. The year 2026 still includes enforcement priorities, thorough scrutiny of applications, and careful case-by-case review of evidence and eligibility. These elements aren't going away, nor should they entirely, because the system needs integrity. But what February 2026 demonstrates is something crucial that's been missing: balance. The system is enforcing rules and maintaining standards while also functioning properly and processing legitimate cases. It's reviewing applications carefully while also approving qualifying applicants at a reasonable, predictable pace. It's not frozen in bureaucratic paralysis, and it's not collapsing under its own weight. For immigrants who've survived years of uncertainty, who've weathered dramatic policy changes and reversals, who've endured processing delays that tested every ounce of patience and resilience, this balance itself represents genuinely good news. It means your planning can shift from pure survival mode to cautious, grounded optimism. It means that staying organized, responding promptly to USCIS requests, maintaining updated documentation, and following procedures correctly will actually produce results. Your effort, your patience, your persistence is finally being rewarded with forward movement rather than endless waiting. For workers in employment-based categories, this means opportunity continues to exist and function within the legal immigration system. Employment-based immigration remains a viable, accessible pathway for qualified individuals with job offers from US employers, and steady processing helps both businesses that need specialized talent and families that desperately need stability. For students and various non-immigrant visa holders, it confirms that lawful pathways remain open and functional. Visas are still being issued across categories. Extensions are still being granted when requirements are met. Legal status continues to be recognized, documented, and respected by the system. Here's another positive indicator that deserves attention and acknowledgement. Transparency is improving across immigration agencies. While it's certainly not perfect and there's always substantial room for enhancement, USCIS and related agencies are providing clearer guidance, more detailed processing time information, and more consistent communication than we experienced during some of the most chaotic periods in recent years. Better communication fundamentally reduces rumors, decreases community-wide panic, and helps everyone make genuinely informed decisions about their immigration journey rather than decisions based on fear, anxiety, or misinformation. It's worth understanding that immigration systems naturally move in cycles, much like economic systems or political environments. After periods of extreme disruption, uncertainty, and chaos, stabilization typically follows as systems adapt, adjust, and find new equilibrium. February 2026 appears to represent that stabilization phase we've been desperately waiting for. We're not witnessing dramatic legislative reform or revolutionary policy overhauls. We're seeing practical, functional improvement in how the existing system operates on a day-to-day basis. And sometimes practical improvement is exactly what families need most. Sometimes steady, predictable progress beats dramatic promises that never materialize. The improvements we're discussing today might seem incremental when you read about them or hear them described in a video, but for the family that finally receives an interview date after 18 months of waiting, it's everything. For the worker who gets their employment authorization document and can finally accept that job offer they've been holding, it's life-changing. For the couple who receives their green card approval and can finally stop living in temporary limbo, it's the answer to years of prayers and patience. If you're currently in the immigration system, whether waiting for a green card, a work permit, a visa interview, or any other immigration benefit, February 2026 offers something meaningful, not guarantees. Because immigration never offers guarantees, but it offers tangible signs and concrete evidence that the system is moving and that patience combined with proper preparation is still being rewarded. It offers hope grounded in actual data and real approvals rather than wishful thinking. If this video gave you hope and valuable information, please hit that like button and share it with anyone navigating the immigration journey. Subscribe to this channel for ongoing updates as we continue monitoring these positive trends. Drop a comment below telling me which immigration benefit you're waiting for and whether you've noticed improvements in your case. Thank you for watching, stay patient, stay organized, and keep believing in your American dream. I'll see you in the next video.